Welcome to Season 2 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs Podcast. I'm Tyler. If you're new to the podcast, we're three friends and a producer who like to showcase craft breweries and their beers. Also, we like to end every episode with a short conversation on a variety of different topics. If you're not new to the podcast, well, welcome back. We will keep things similar to Season 1. After all, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Whether you're new or returning, please feel free to listen to all of our Season 1 content. And remember, to follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untapped, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett. And along with us today is producer Dakota.
Hello.
Welcome.
Dakota.
Yes, welcome, Dakota.
There it is. So in today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Brock Street Brewing out of Whitby, Ontario.
Yes, we are.
Yes, and we're going to have two beers today.
Woohoo.
The first one being a, wait for it,
Yep.
Bourbon Barrel Aged Scotch Ale Sour.
Wow, that's
Say
a
that
lot of things.
3 times fast.
Bourbon Barrel Aged Scotch Ale Sour.
Nice.
And the second one's a light lime lager that we're going to have as well.
Perfect. So to finish up the episode, we're going to discuss some questions of this or that.
All right, and the street lights are on, so we are back. Okay.
Green means go. So Tyler, go.
Okay, wow. Brock Street is located at 244 Brock Street South.
Amazing.
You know, I was wondering whether they actually were on Brock Street or not, but we have
Can
confirmation. Yeah.
It's one of those, if they ever want to move locations, they're going to be in a heck of a marketing situation.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Right? So it is on the corner of Brock and Dunlop Streets in Whitby, and they actually opened up in 2015. So they've been around for, 7 years or so?
Yeah, good time.
Thank you. Now, they've actually moved to their current location in 2019. Brett, do you have any history on that one? Maybe you could take a look and see what you got.
Yeah, well, in
there.
2019, they moved to their current location.
So was it not Brock Street Brewery before that?
No, it's still on Brock Street. It's down the street.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, maybe they should open up another one called it Down the Street Brewing.
There you go.
So the brewery itself, at its current location, also shares 19,000 square foot facility with 12 bistro and tap works. So you can get some bistro, you can get some tap, and keep on carrying on.
You can get some Brock Street.
There you go. The brewery itself actually occupies 8,000 square feet of that, and so it's sitting on this historic street, which was actually an old fire hall, and they kind of reclaimed some of the faux bricks for the exterior. So it's nice to see like this reclamation project of bringing some of the old back into some of the new, which is
Yes.
really nice. And then some of the kind of like finer features of it is reusing some of the chandeliers from the old TD, Toronto Dominion head office, which was in Toronto, which
Cool.
isn't too far from Whitby.
It's all GTA.
It's a nice GO train ride away.
There you go. And Brett, this might be of interest to you, but there was a huge clock from the old Whitby downtown post office that they've used as well.
Yes, because Whitby Post Office really means a lot to me.
Yeah, big post office guy.
All right. Well, Brock Street has 4 owners: Cliff Van Cleef, Scott Pepin, Victor Leone, and Mark Wotzik, all from the Whitby area. So that makes sense. Mark, who handles the public relations of the brewery, and he was the one that connected with us, or we connected with, in September of 91, was actually paralyzed from the chest down. So he severed his spinal cord during a university initiation incident.
Oh, my goodness.
So this is heavy stuff, actually. That didn't stop him, though. After a year of physical rehab and great support from his family, he graduated with honors from York. He attended Osgoode Hall, and he was able to start his own practice in 2000 in downtown Whitby. So
Yes.
great,
Wow.
great
Yes.
perseverance.
Absolutely.
So opening a brewery is nothing after that.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. So, again, as known from a few breweries, kind of all started with homebrewing. So
Yeah.
Mark's wife, Amanda, convinced him to buy like a Brew Magic system, and he started homebrewing with his friends, and eventually, kind of decided to do this whole thing called opening a brewery.
Yeah.
Do we owe a round of applause for Mark's wife, Amanda? I think we do.
Yeah.
Oh, the support. That's the stuff we need, right?
So, yeah. So today, Brock Street has 420 hectoliter tanks, 460 hectoliter tanks, 10 30 hectoliter tanks, and 10 specialty 3 hectoliter tanks.
That's a lot of tanks.
It's a little bit more than a Brew Magic system.
Yeah.
Just let you know. A little bigger.
Yeah, there's a couple added in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit bigger. So Brock Street's also taken home some Brewing Awards, including being Newcomer of the Year back in 2016 and winning gold for their Bohemian Pilsner at the Canadian Brewing Awards, along with gold for their Irish Red Dark Ale at the Ontario Brewing Awards.
Nice.
Award winners.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not trying any of those, but I'm sure the beers we're having are still good.
Yeah.
So they were one of the first breweries to venture down the path of making more than just beer. So they have vodka sodas, hard iced tea, vodka itself, and gin.
Okay.
So, Mark, we'll get into this a little bit later, but he was nice enough to send us more than just the 2 beers we're having today. So maybe on a future producer special, we might be having one of those non-beer things.
We might be venturing out a little bit.
We might be. We might
Yeah,
be a
moving-
different kind of connoisseur.
I was just going to say, moving from our one location down the street to another location. So we'll see what we have coming up. Now on Untapped, they have 236 different beers.
That's a lot.
That doesn't include any of their sodas, the iced teas that was you just mentioned. With that being said, they've got over 40,000 check-ins in total.
Nice.
So a few people have had some Brock Street stuff.
Yeah, but before we get to what we've had in terms of Brock Street, has anybody actually been to the location?
I have not.
No, we have not.
None of us have. Producer? No?
No.
Okay, Dakota.
Again, I've been mentioning this for a while. Whitby is a tour that I've been wanting to do for a while.
Well, we at the beginning of this season, we did Town,
Yeah.
which is, of course, in Whitby as well. And I think it's actually just kind of down the street from Brock Street, ironically.
And they also got 5 Paddles, Little Beast. Like, there's a lot of, there's 4
there's
of them, at least Whitby.
a lot of great breweries
So we have to do one,
in Whitby.
for
yeah.
sure.
All right, a little Whippy tour.
Yeah.
Let's
right?
do it.
But
whip it up.
anyway, going back to Untapped in terms of the beers that we've had,
Okay.
I'm leading the way. Sorry about that.
No wonder why you wanted to get back to it.
Yeah.
A little bit of a gloat session. Carry on.
Okay. I've had 5 of the 236. That's not a very high percentage, but I've still had more than anybody else here.
It's a lower percentage than your 5 out of 5 check-ins.
Oh, big time.
You know what? I'm not going to do the math on that because obviously I'm not good at it, but I'm going to assume that you're probably right.
Yeah.
But I have had 5 beers from Brock Street. So Munich Lager, the New England Session IPA, the Bohemian Pilsner that won the gold at Canadian Brewing Awards, the Strawberry Blonde, and then just that regular blonde as well.
Nice.
Producer has had 1 chicken, that Strawberry Blonde. Okay, Tyler and Chris, can you please inform me of how many beers from Brock Street that you've had? Okay, thank you.
We've had none, which is actually exciting, and I like these opportunities to not have any beers from the brewery and then have a complete kind of blind taste test for the ones that we're having.
Exactly.
And nothing to kind of compare it to. So I'm really actually excited for the beers on today's episode.
It's a blank canvas.
Especially because they're very unique.
They are unique.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the first one a little more than the second one.
The light lager is not necessarily unique, but we will see. I think it's different than a lot of other lagers that we
Yeah,
try.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So in terms of where you can find Brock Street, you can find that select LCBOs across Ontario, and a lot of them you can find the light lager, the New England Session, the Scotch Ale, the Munich Lager, and the Blonde Ale.
Yeah, so if you want to play at home, you can go to the LCBO, grab the 2 beers we're having, and
I can't
try
wait
them
to
along
see
with us.
somebody on Instagram just kind of like tag us and play along with us and drink while.
That would be awesome.
Right? I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
And also for Brock Street, the bottle shop is open Tuesday to Saturday from 12 to 6 and Sunday from 12 till 5.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they do deliver all across Ontario.
Perfect.
It's free in the Durham region. So maybe we got to move to the Durham region.
Yeah. Over $35 though.
It is over $35. The GTA over $70, and outside of those areas over $100. We've said it before, and we'll say it again. The best way to make sure you get yourself a deal is to have some friends.
Have some friends. So yeah, us, we're outside of the GTA, so we could get free shipping if we only spent $25 each. There you go.
So
That's math.
That is math.
there it is.
So what we're going to do is we're going to, as always, link our information or link to their information on our social media.
English isn't good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, good at math, not English. But you want to know what we're good at?
What's that?
Drink a beer. So let's drink the first one.
Let's do it. All right, we are back, and a big thank you again to Mark at Brock Street for
Yeah, thanks,
sending
Mark.
the beers. Yeah, thank you very much. And to Ryan for passing along the tasting notes. So
You know
thank
what?
You, Ryan.
One thing I want to say, we do this all the time where we thank them.
Yes.
And this is always before we actually tasted the beers. You know? That's like paying an umpire before a game.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Actually, we do that a lot.
I know, and I don't like that practice.
I mean, hey, it's a very nice gesture
It
that
is.
they provided it,
It is.
for us to try on the episode. So.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What do
All
we
right.
got here?
Well, the first beer we're going to have is the Bourbon Barrel Aged Scotch Sour. So this one comes in at 8.7 ABV and unlisted IBUs.
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice. So this is described as, you guessed it, a Scotch ale, which was aged in oak barrels, which seems to be the typical kind of barrel to age things in. And the barrels have actually been used twice. So I don't know if they've got like one of them little fancy like ticket counters. They rip a number off every time. And so it was naturally soured actually over a course of a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
So the third use of it actually produced more acidity to it, so thus being rebranded as a sour. So that is a lengthy process to have these beers sit in those oak barrels for. So I'm expecting some very strong flavors.
Yes. And just so you know, we're having this beer first because there's more check-ins of it on Untapped versus the other one, even though the ABV is higher than the second one. Speaking of which, bourbon barrel aging beers usually impart a flavor of American oak, so coconut, dill, and sweet spices, accentuated by the charring of the barrel interior. A Scotch ale, or otherwise known as a wee heavy, will pour a dark brown color that will be rich, malty, and caramel heavy, but with a low hop bitterness, hence the IBUs being unlisted or 0.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
So on Untapped, as always, you can follow us at Craft Beer Connoisseurs and on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons. So for this beer, there are 23 check-ins with a 3.07 rating overall. One person has given a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
It must have been Brett.
It was not. What's the checkout to? 1 out of 23, percentage-wise.
That's like just under 5%.
I was going to say
Yeah.
just under 5, yeah.
So not really unsurprisingly, the can has 22 of those 23 check-ins, but a 3.1 rating. So whoever didn't have it in a can must have given it a much lower rating.
Yeah. All right. Well, 'tis time, fellas.
It is
what
that
we're here
time.
for.
So grab your glass, grab your can, and let's open her up. Ooh. Splash
Get a little
of...
spillage there or what?
No, splash of just like on the nose.
Just some scent there. So as we pour it, I will say we're drinking out of a thistle glass. But since it's a sour, you could use your tulip or snifter. But either way, make sure to use your proper glassware.
Yeah, I'm using my snifter, let me tell you. So right
Yeah.
when you pop it open, just strong flavors coming out, whether that's the bourbon, the oak, like it's a very rich kind of flavor that's coming out of this. I'm looking at it.
You know what it smells like? It smells like a whiskey sour kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you know what? A whiskey sour mixed with a little bourbon. Almost is what it is.
Bourbon whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the oak though. I'm getting like that woody kind of smell to it. But looking at it, I've got something that I would compare it to just by appearance. But I want to see what you guys have to say first on it.
Well, I think you might say maybe Coke.
I wasn't thinking Coke, but I was thinking
Root beer?
I was thinking more of a Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay.
But very still, again, that kind of dark caramelly kind of look to it. But it's the carbonation very very much mimics a soda pop.
yeah.
Just by appearance. I don't know about you guys, but like the bubble profile on it is really interesting.
Like I don't know. I can't really put my finger on exactly what I'm getting out of this on the nose, but I'll be honest. This actually smells nice.
Now, on the can, before we get into it, it does say it has aromas of dark malt, stone fruit, bourbon, oak, and vanilla. Complement sharp and bright acidity and the complex sour flavors from the long aging period. So obviously, we haven't tasted it yet, but I feel as though it might be the vanilla. I don't know if it's vanilla extract or...
I think it might be part of that fruit that I'm smelling.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be.
But
I'm getting a lot of like a antique store.
Did you just look at the can or what? Because it looks like an antique store in the can almost, right?
I
In terms of the wood.
wasn't looking at the can, no, actually, but that's good for
with the wood paneling, yeah.
Yeah.
kind of know that, but it does give me again like that, like a old time kind of like jewelry box, and it's not unpleasant. It's just you can really smell, at least I can, and I got a big nose. We discussed
do.
this.
You have a big snifter.
What do you kind of smell? So let's taste it. See what we get, guys.
Let's do it.
All right, you guys get in there first. I'm gonna kind of just see what we're getting around here. Producer, sucking back theirs. Okay, good. Good for you to go. Okay. All right, you guys let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna get into this a little bit myself.
It definitely sours.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely a sour beer, and like the bourbon's not too heavy on it.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's almost a little bit of like a smoky flavor to it from the barreling.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty nice.
And that flavor of the fruit, the stone fruit.
The stone fruit,
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Going through kind of the description of the beer and whatnot before having the sip of it, I didn't think it was going to be like that overly great because I'm not a huge bourbon fan, but actually, not half bad.
This is probably one of the most interesting beers I've had, and the story that it's telling from the beginning to the end is very unique because as it sits after I've done my sip, the vanilla just pumps through.
Yes, correct.
Let that sit for a second. It's this very kind of like evolution of the flavor profile, but the vanilla comes through right at the end.
Yeah,
and I think settles out the sourness, so it's not tart. This is very interesting.
It's almost like you're venturing down a bunch of different streets, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, you start in one in 2015, you end up in another one in 2019.
Yeah,
But I feel
or
as
the
though
same one,
I was
just
gonna say,
a
I feel
little
as
bit
though
further
it's
down.
Still Brock Street at the end of the day.
That's true.
But
down
yeah,
on the corner.
There's totally, it's like there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's like when you're writing a story in grade 7. It's like that's what this beer is.
This beer is very, very complex.
Yes.
There's a lot of different components going on here. And you think of it as, okay, you got the aged in a bourbon barrel. You have the sourness to it. He's like, that's maybe not going to work. But this works.
It does. It definitely works.
I'm perplexed.
I think
what
we're all.
What do you rate this against? Because obviously you've always mentioned, I always have to rate the beer as it's described. Do you rate it in the bourbon barrel category? Do you rate it in the sour category?
No, this is Tom Hanks in a league of their own. This is nice. Let's move on to the top 5 flavor profiles, and we'll kind of explain as we go through it where we're kind of seeing because I can get this. So number 1 on the list is sour. Where do you guys stand on that?
Agreed.
That's the first thing that hit me.
And producer Dakota coming in, very unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say unexpected for me because it is listed as one, but I think it's the flavor profile of the sour that's unexpected. We're getting some head shakes on that. Number 2 is bourbon. Could be whiskey, but we'll go. we'll go.
Maybe whiskey wasn't listed.
Yeah,
in
maybe
Untitled.
bourbon's the only thing that's there.
That's what it is.
So bourbon.
Maybe not number 2, but it's there for sure.
Top 5.
Yeah,
Whiskey's in the top 5.
I'm starting for some reason getting like the chocolate, the bourbon chocolates almost. You know what I mean? Like the infused chocolate with bourbon.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
picking
probably
up on that a bit.
because you probably haven't really had bourbon by itself.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, but I think maybe that's because the vanilla aspect of it. I don't know. It's just it's complex. Number 3, tart.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same as sour, right?
Yeah,
But
it's all there for sure.
To me, this isn't it's not a puckering sour, so it's not too tarty. If you will.
it's the sour is not overpowering.
So
It's
I wouldn't
very well balanced.
I wouldn't put it as 3 on this myself.
No, I wouldn't either.
Number 4 is vanilla.
Yeah, I think you're getting it more than myself at least. I'm not really getting it on the back, but I mean, I could appreciate it.
I get vanilla on the front end and not at the back at all.
Yeah.
Well, okay. And number 5 is malty.
See, I don't think it is malty.
No.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely strong, for sure.
Yeah, it is strong.
Strong, but I would put fruit in there.
Yeah.
You
get a lot of stone fruit. Yeah.
And like sweetness almost like it's a little sweet as well.
What's the fruit I'm thinking of? A nectarine, maybe?
Yeah.
I think is maybe where I'm kind of coming
That's
from.
a stone fruit.
It is a stone fruit. Yeah. That's why I feel like I'm kind of headed towards a nectarine kind of flavor on it.
Yeah. Well, so Dakota is saying, and I totally agree with this, not a beer you're going to have a bunch of.
No.
But certainly would be a good nightcap after a long workday. Sit down on the old Chesterfield, I think, with this.
Yeah, and hopefully you
This
don't
is
stick to the
also
plastic on the Chesterfield.
a beer. Obviously, we're going to have 10 to 12 minutes of the review of this beer, but this is going to be a beer that you want to sip on. This is going to be like, watch a Blue Jays game, start it in the first, you're still going to have a little bit.
Treat it like a bourbon.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're still going to have it in the 7th or 8th, right? And speaking of other people's thoughts on this, Chris, you have the first one.
Yes, the first one comes from Alex R. Handle is ALXTML. On February 19th, said, a cool creation and good balance, sour initially, and then bourbon settles in shortly after. So Alex gave it a 3 out of 5.
Very good. Danny A. I got the next one is bass or base? What do you guys want to go with?
Base.
Yeah, I think base based on the next word.
Very nice. Good call. So it's Base Clef Beer Lover on December 19th. Stated strong, super sour, heavy, and robust. This beer's flavor was an experience. I loved it. A 5 out of 5.
So there's that 1 5 out of 5.
There you go.
It is a 5 out of 5.
Danny.
And it is what we kind of talked about, that there is, it's an experience.
It's a story. This beer's telling a story.
It is telling a story. And again, I think that maybe we really didn't mention it because we do the smell of the beer first, then we do the taste. But I think it's kind of good to kind of bring this back together a bit. Is the smell of beer does not dictate what the taste of the beer is. We are picking up some of those kind of smells, but the smells and tastes are two completely different.
Yeah, it is different for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to start our ratings off on this one. Again, there is no comparables to this because it is its own unique story.
It is.
And I'm going to give this a 4.25. I'm going to give it
Yeah.
Chris, you're next.
You're really in agreement to that rating,
you're
aren't
next,
you?
Chris.
You stole the words out of my mouth. I'm giving it a 4.25 actually.
It's a heck of a
as
palate,
well.
kid.
I know we still have a couple more ratings, but I think I speak for all of us saying we were kind of pleasantly surprised with this one.
I couldn't agree more. I was thinking this was going to be, like, we had the 3.07 was the average overall rating.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was going to be around there. For us, in terms of an average rating, it's going to be way higher than that. For me, I'm going to give this a 4. And producer Dakota also agrees with me because he is a smart man and also gives it a 4.
That's going to split the difference right in half.
It will, yes.
We've got, what's that, 4.125?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let's jack that up to a 4.25, guys, because one doubt, Tyler and Chris are right.
I like the sounds of that. All right, well, let's move on to beer number 2. All right, the second beer we're having today is the Limelight Lager.
The 3 L's.
Yes, it
Try
is.
saying that 3 times fast. Limelight Lager.
Was that 3 times fast?
That was
I was
one
trying to
time
make Chris
slow. All right, so this one, a little bit of a discrepancy, guys. So on Untappd, this comes in at a 4% ABV, but now that we've got cans in hand, 3.6%.
So who should we trust, the can or Untappd?
I'm probably going to trust the can.
Probably. It's probably a good call.
Cans are good.
IBUs, however, unlisted again.
Wow. All right, so this is a conventional lager, easy drinking, made with natural lime versus the flavoring agents that the macro breweries use. So
I
kind
wonder
of
who
more
that
like
could
a
be. Yeah.
maybe like a Bud Light lime, perhaps.
Oh.
A little shot fired, eh? So this beer is also going to be the new summer listing for the LCBOs, and guess who got it before it hit the LCBOs?
We did.
That's us.
As we're going to be one of the first few people to try it. This beer also has a fresh and tangy aroma of lime and are balanced perfectly with a bit of toasted grain in this exceptionally smooth and easy drinking lager, and they have told us to enjoy it. So I feel as though we should.
Okay.
We will definitely
find out.
try to enjoy it.
On Untappd, there's a total of 5 check-ins, so we're not the very first people to get it, but before it gets shipped, all Ontario-wide, we're pretty close. It has an average rating of 3.19. It was released in a very, 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 very limited series late last year. And producer Dakota is pointing out that Untappd actually hasn't listed the average rating. That was my math.
Oh, good.
So we don't know if that's very logical. But there are 4 viewable check-ins, 3 out of 3.5 and 1 out of 2.25. So hopefully Dakota can double-check the math and figure that's about 3.19.
All right. Well, we'll find out.
We will see.
Tough when we don't know the
The
fifth 1. Oh, thanks, Dakota. All right, so let's grab our can, let's grab our glass, and let's open her up. That's a light open.
One of them people are having them private accounts.
Yeah.
Can't really see what they're doing.
Who does that? All right, so we are drinking this Limelight Lager out of a pint glass, so make sure to use the proper glassware.
Okay, here we go.
All right, taking a look at it. This is light for sure, and that is
That is
specifically
clear.
on the color, yeah.
That's clear.
Pretty translucent.
Translucent. Almost looks like a seltzer.
It does. Like, I think last episode I said I could see Ricardo through my beer. I can totally see Dakota through my beer.
And who do you prefer, Dakota or Ricardo?
Don't pick.
I'm not going to pick favorites.
Very good.
Producers are like your children. You don't have a favorite.
But you do. You just don't tell them. So you could definitely see through this. It's got like it's like apple juice, but like half apple juice, half water. If you're filling up a standard glass.
What about
I'd
lime
say.
juice?
Lime juice is actually less transparent than this, I would say. Because you got, like all the sediment from the lime.
Yeah,
Right?
Just so you know, can
Pulp.
confirm.
Pulp.
There we
I
go.
can see producer Dakota right now.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of condensation. There's not a lot of condensation.
There's
on the
zero
glass at all.
condensation here. That is correct.
But the bubbles on this, there's not
carbonation,
carbonation.
yes.
There's not a whole lot of carbonation on it. So
That's right. In the first beer, we didn't talk about the head at all. This one, I have a very small head, and it's fading quite quickly.
Same. Mine's more faded than yours.
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, that's basically all we could tell. Now, what about on the nose? What do you guys got on the nose?
You kind of get a sense of that real lime versus that lime adjunct, if you will. Personally,
Yeah,
Tyler?
I'm getting kind of I'm getting like the maltiness, even some like kind of yeastiness coming off the nose.
I'm getting like a light cereal.
Yeah,
maybe
that
some
makes sense.
flaked corn.
I mean, flake corn would make sense as well. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking almost like a corn flake, which makes sense.
Corn flake corn.
We'll see
Yep,
what that
lines up.
See what that kind of looks like.
And for the listeners, the reason Brett says that is because in the ingredients it does list flaked.
I
corn.
might have cheated a little bit, yes, and you just had to like go and ruin it for me.
So let's taste it and see if we can get anything out of it. I mean, we are looking for a lager. We are looking for some light, and we do have some comparables as previously mentioned.
We have had a few more light lagers compared to Bourbon Aged Sour.
Yeah,
But I meant specifically with a Limelight Lager as
Yes.
well.
Yes,
They do exist in the market. All right, guys, let's see what
let's do it.
Just a nice reminder: those beers all natural. FYI. All right, Tyler, what are you going to taste?
Yeah, it is lime heavy. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to get kind of that corn flakiness on the back end. I think kind of combined. I don't know if it tastes kind of soapy, if you will, like a lime flavored soapish kind of like flavor profile. But it's not awful, but it does remind me of a shampoo. Like the smell of a shampoo I've had.
Right.
How the smell of something is almost like the taste of something else.
Yep.
That's kind of what I'm getting as. It's
So
a
you're
very
saying is
citrusy
you've
kind
had
of
a shampoo that you've also tasted at the same time.
No, I don't see. So you don't understand.
Well, I don't have any shampoos that I taste.
Yes.
No,
you don't
when you
understand.
taste something and you say that tastes like what
smell of-
X smells like.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome to Intellectuals with Brett Pfeiffer. Everybody.
Well, I definitely
I might have fizzled out there a little bit in terms of
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I just heard shampoo, and then you taste shampoo, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
no.
All right,
Okay.
Chris, what do you got?
Moving
Yeah.
on. I get a lot of the lime on the back end, actually.
Yeah, I'm getting that now.
But it does come through as a very natural lime flavor. I'm also, you mentioned, Brett, that there wasn't, or maybe it was you, Tyler, mentioned not a lot of carbonation when we looked at it, and I'm wishing there was more carbonation in this beer as I drink it.
Right.
I think for me, you can definitely tell the difference between them using like a pure key lime concentrate versus like an adjunct that a macro brewery, for example, would put in, right? You
Yeah.
definitely tell the naturalness versus just
Yeah,
artificial.
You can almost taste that freshness of it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It is
and
very
I
fresh.
I appreciate that. I love limes. I love limes and lemons, like those sour
Same here.
citrus fruits. So I definitely appreciate the natural flavors, and I am getting it. So
For sure.
that's awesome.
And I
Yeah,
also
and-
think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just going to say, I think this is probably a good one to have after the last beer we just had. I think it's nice.
Very cleansing, very
it would've been-
fresh.
I think maybe it
very
would have
light.
been different if we would have had the bourbon now and would have had this one first, right?
Yeah, you know what, Brett? I appreciate you put together the order of the beers we're having. I appreciate the order that you put together.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could do that for you.
Yeah, for my episode. Thanks, man.
You had no say. You just did the last part.
Yeah, that's all I did. With this beer it is a very summertime beer. So I think if you're sitting outside and it is 20, 25 degrees, you're at the side of a pool, this is going to be a nice beer.
Yeah.
Again, just to kind of, you don't have to just, it is potentially crushable.
It's more crushable than the 8.7 bourbon.
For sure. Yeah, you can have this out back, even if you're just doing some gardening, right?
You know what? This is the beer where you pour it and then you're drinking it and then you look down and it's almost gone and you're like, what? I feel like I took like 3 sips.
Yeah.
You're
for
like,
sure.
for sure. Time to grab another.
Yeah.
Brett, do you want to do the top 5 flavor profiles? I think this is probably up your alley.
Yeah, I will.
Thanks.
Number 1, light. That was
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
that was it. But producer Dakota has come in with a few other ones.
Oh, thanks, Dakota.
Yes. Lime.
Yes.
Does make sense.
Yeah.
The next one is lager. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. I was on the label. Anyway, clean. This beer clean for you.
Yeah, it's clean.
Okay.
Totally.
Cleanse my palate.
Yeah. Producer Dakota almost getting a fizzy flavor. Do we agree with that?
I don't know what fizzy is.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the carbonation. It's like a tight bubble formation, if you will.
Yeah. See, I'm not like, sometimes when you drink a lager and that carbonation comes off as crisp, I'm not getting that crispness.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about crushable? That's another one that producer Dakota came up with.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Again, I think this kind of goes back to the 2.5 sips, and you're kind of done, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
All right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
Reverse Uno card.
There you go. So let's see what everybody on tap thinks. So Brett, you give us the first one. Chris, you get number 2 there, bud.
Yes.
All right.
So the first one
Is-
producer Dakota. Oof, he is
messing
struggling right
around,
now.
yep.
But the first one is from Ryan P, and his handle is Pierce44. On February 22nd, said, "Nah, too light.
Oh,
I need something with taste."
It's a light.
2.25 out of 5. I'm sorry, Ryan, but you are wrong in terms of that. Yes, it is light, but it definitely has more taste than what you think it is.
Yeah, I think so. Sure. So the next one comes from Edward C. His handle is Google Spain AN 0.
Google Paysan, I believe.
Okay. All right. On April 5th, all he said was surprisingly good. Gave it a 3.5 out of 5, though.
Surprisingly average.
Surprising, yeah.
Yeah.
It's surprising rating.
Yeah.
There you go. Chris, get us started.
Surprise
there.
us with your rating.
Well, I'm not going to probably surprise you too much with this rating. I'm going to give it a 3.25 out of 5.
I am also going to give it a 3.25 out of 5.
All right. I'm going to come in a little bit under that. I'm going to come in with a 2.75. And producer Dakota is going to give it a 2.0. So, Chris, we got the math there.
Yeah, so that's giving us an overall rating of 2.8125, which we are going to round down to a 2.75.
Okay. And that concludes the review of Brock Street Brewing and the beers that they provided for today's episode.
All right. And coming up next on deck is a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
This that is on deck.
All right, and we're back. So Brock Street actually provided us with some polarizing types of beers. We saw
We did, yeah.
barrel aged and we saw light lager. So, we're going to kind of follow that general differences aspect to the thematic conversation of the episode here. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it, fun, a bit light. Lager and barrel age, some this or that style questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go kind of through these, maybe somewhat rapid fire. We'll see how we kind of go.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of time here, so let's maybe enjoy this section a little bit.
Let's enjoy it.
So I'll be the question master. I'll ask it around the table. Who wants to pick up producer Dakota's? Maybe we do it in sections.
Yep.
Maybe somebody take the first theme, somebody take the second, and somebody take
I'll
the third.
take number 1.
I'll take 2.
I'll go 3.
There you go.
All right, so I'll start it up, and then I'll just work to my right, and we'll work around the table. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right, so the first topic we're going to keep it kind of in theme sections. The theme is going to be beer.
Oh,
Beer
that's
is
a good
the
theme.
Thank you. I thought it was a nice one to kind of roll into, much like an oak barrel. Number 1, this or that. Light or dark, Brett? Light or dark?
Oh, I think me and producer Dakota are agreeing here. Light.
Okay. Chris?
You know, I'm going to be that guy for almost all these questions and say, it depends.
Just devil's advocate? No. It's this or that. No. It's
You have
this or that.
to pick one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go dark.
All right, there we go. For myself, I'm going to go light. I'm sure that's not a shocker to most. Number 2, patio or fire? Right.
This is kind of where me and producer Dakota are disagreeing. Producer Dakota is like, fire. And I'm more like, patio.
All right. Chris, what do you got?
I'm going to stick with you, Brett. I'm going to say patio.
I'm going to go with fire, baby. I like to dance in the fire.
That you do. Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
seen-
I
think everybody's actually...
Yeah, we've seen it all.
That fire's fun. All right. Number 3 on the list, group hangout or couple hangout?
Now, I just want some clarification here. When you say couple hangout, that's like you and your significant other only, right?
Yeah.
Or with another couple?
No, you and your significant other.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go that way. Brett.
You're trying to screw us over, aren't you?
Brett.
This is where producer Dakota's like, couple. Like, hands up. Like, so yeah, I'm going to go with that too. Couple hangout. I literally just spent a whole weekend in the States going to many Targets.
All right. And
Target is not exciting, by the way.
Are you saying you enjoyed that more than you're going to enjoy the bachelor party?
No. I mean, so for every Target, I got a brewery, and I know that when we, bachelor partied up, there's going to be a lot more breweries.
So first of all, you just said for every Target you got a brewery. Was it not the opposite way? For every brewery she got a Target?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay. All
I went
right.
to 5 Targets. I went to 5 breweries / beer bars.
I'm going to go with a couple hangout also.
There you go. All right. Well, I am going to go with the group hangout.
I knew you would.
I enjoy the group hangout.
The more the merrier for you.
When it comes to beer, we go back to some previous conversations that we have. My significant other can't have beer, so it's a beer kind of hangout. So it's what you're having, and I would rather that be enjoyed with individuals that can also have the product.
Fair enough.
Number 4, Belgium or Germany? Which would you rather go to have beer? Brett.
I'll go with Germany, and producer Dakota agrees with me. They do have the world's largest beer festival in Munich, so that'd be one thing I would probably go to.
I think I have to go Germany also.
Yeah, and I will make that a clean sweep in Germany as well. Okay, here's a bit of a conundrum, maybe. Free bad beer or expensive good beer?
Yeah, I'm going to go with expensive good beer. Same with producer Dakota.
Yeah, all day I'm going expensive good beer.
Nice. Clean sweep again. Not as difficult as I thought that might be. All right, the next topic is going to be freestyle. So we now switch that into your hands to get Dakota there, Chris. Freestyle. Passenger or driver?
So I hate being the passenger. I will drive wherever, whenever, however, just because I like to be in control. What can I say?
So you're driving to the bachelor party because we leave today?
Well, no, I'm not. But I'm going to probably say, hey, if you ever need somebody to take over for you, let me do it.
Nice.
See, this is one I hate because it depends.
This or that.
But I'm going to go with driver, and Dakota is going with passenger.
Yeah, I'm going to go with driver. Reality shows or documentaries, Brett?
This is actually a really tough one.
I know.
This is probably the toughest question in terms of the list of questions.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to go reality shows.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest, it's probably the easiest. I'm going documentaries, and so is producer Dakota.
Yeah, I'm jumping on that ship too.
That's fine.
All right, French fries or onion rings?
This is the easiest question for me. French fries, 100%.
Wow.
Oh, I love a good onion ring. See, the thing, I hate
this or that.
No. This is a little background to my answer.
Okay.
I hate onions, but I love onion rings. It's actually really weird.
That's complex.
Yeah.
It's like somebody I know that hates tomatoes but loves ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that.
So Dakota's going with French fries also.
I love a good onion ring. And I enjoy onions anyways, but
Yeah.
onion rings are bomb diggity. Introvert or extrovert?
Kind of bit of both, but I'm going to go with extrovert.
I am an introvert, and so is Dakota.
I am an introvert as well, which might surprise some people, but I find myself
You're
as
an extrovert, introverted person.
I'm an introvert who has extroverted tendencies to chameleon and adapt. Speed or accuracy, Brett?
Well, depending on how many walks I have per night when I pitch, accuracy.
Yeah, I'm going with accuracy as well, and so is Dakota.
Speed. If you ain't first or last.
Thank you, Ricky Bobby.
There it is. All right, maybe we'll switch this over to tough questions here. So these might be a little tough, a little bit philosophical, and maybe that's because of my minor in that. So, Brett, see the future or change the past?
See the future because you can't change the past.
Well, I'm giving you
But
the
you're
option.
No, I literally said. My answer is see the future because you can't change the past. I want to be able to.
Chris, what do you got?
You don't get it, do you?
Chris, what do you got?
No. Honestly, I would go with neither, but I'm going to go with see the future.
Okay. Producer Dakota is going with change the past. I myself would change the past as well. Pause time or rewind time, Brett, and you can't pause the time to get to the rewind the time. You know.
No, this one I understand for sure.
Okay. Okay.
And number one, I don't understand why nobody else got it. But anyway, for this one, I'm going to say pause time.
Okay.
Do we get to choose when we pause time?
No, just in general. What would you rather have if you
If you could just at any point say, I want to pause time?
I'm either pausing it or I'm rewinding it.
I would pause time.
All right. Producer Dakota, a little bit strange on this one, based on the previous answer, said pause time. So he changed the past, but he would pause time, but not have the ability to rewind time. So a little bit backwards on that. Myself, I would rewind time, sticking true to what I said previously. Number 3. This is the biggest, toughest question that you might get in this whole list. Brett, are you a toilet paper roll over or under?
Over.
So I have a funny background on this.
Yeah.
I remember in my grade 12 data management class, there was a question about how they surveyed X amount of people about whether this exact question. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to people, who cares? Like, it's just toilet paper. Like, what does it matter? And then once I really thought about it and like started noticing, I was like, toilet paper needs to go over. So I am over.
Yeah. And producer Dakota says over as well. And I'm over as well.
Clean sweep.
When I actually look at like real estate listings, if I see somebody that's got it under, I just automatically think that they've made decisions that are not in favor of the house. And
That's a good call.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's too bad. Like, I don't want my toilet paper running down the side of something that is collecting fecal matter. Over the top, keep it clean. Come on, folks.
That's how you know Tyler looks at Realtor.ca. The toilet paper's that. That's hilarious.
That's it. All right. Anybody got any other tough questions? Or are we good?
I think I'm all toughed out.
Yeah, same here.
All right. We will be right back with our farewell. All right. That's all for today's episode.
Thanks again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as Craft Beer Connoisseurs releases a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for a producer special.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite resident on Brock Street.
So from all of us and producer Dakota, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.